Good morning to all of you. As a rector of the University Jaume I, and on behalf of the university community, I would like to welcome you here today. For the UG, as we call our university for sure, it's a pleasure, a real pleasure, to be able to welcome the delegations of the universities that make up the European Digital UniverCity Consortium, EDUC, as we call it, to welcome you to our campus. University of Potsdam, University of Calgary, Masaryk University, University of Peck, the Universities of Paris, Nanterre, and Rennes, and the University of South Eastern Norway. Welcome to the Jaume I University. I would also like to greet to those of you that are following this meeting online. And I would like to start by saying that it's a pleasure, but also a sign of our institutional commitment to EDUC and to the construction of an academic space shared by our region and their citizens, their organizations, and their businesses. Therefore, thank you to all of you for making it happen, and thank you to all the representatives of our university community for attending this institutional event. In fact, I am accompanied by several directors, led by the Director of International Relationship, Eva Camacho, who is the leader of the project at this university. Also, I am accompanied by the deans of our 3 faculties, the director of the School of Technology and Experimental Science, the doctoral school. And also, we have here with us the student body of different university services that have already begun to work on the shared projects of this European Alliance of Universities. So I would like to reiterate my thank you to all of you that participate in this great project. And after this short welcome address, I will give the floor to Florian Schweigert, the Vice President of the International Affairs of the University of Potsdam, which is responsible for coordinating the consortium. So the floor is yours.
Thank you very much indeed. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Rector and the colleagues from Jaume I for hosting us to be there. It's a great honor to start the second, not round, but the continuation in the second phase EDUC at your great university. It reminds me a little bit that Potsdam is in the same spirit of being only 30 years old, and it already gives us a glimpse on the structure of EDUC. It has everything in there. Very traditional, very ancient universities which bring the thought of academic education which started in Europe in the 14th, 15th, 16th century and carried over into our time. And it includes also the universities which started 30 years ago, which are approaching the problem or the challenges we have completely differently. And I think that's one of the major strengths we have here, and I will embark on this a little bit more later. But first of all, I do think I would like to look a little bit backwards, because what we do here, we start the second phase of EDUC here at this moment for the next 4 years, and I think for the future it's a question of sustainability of what we are doing here. But when we started out, my colleagues at the University of Potsdam, and to my left is the vice president for teaching. At this time, it was a different, and education, it was a different vice president. And one of the vice presidents commented to me, what are you intending to do with EDUC? Yes, I think, this was the comment of my colleague, it's Erasmus++, it's a little bit a new version of how to exchange students. Yeah, this was the first comment, and why should we put so much emphasis in something like exchanging more students? I think we are realizing now that, and this is part of the name of EDUC, European Digital UniverCity, and I'm looking around where Sonia is sitting, because she was bringing into... here she is, yeah. So please tell her that I'm citing her personally. I'm glad that it's not only her spirit which is still here, because she was one of the founding persons when we started out with Nanterre, and she brought in the idea that we are not university as we write it in the concrete way and the correct way with an S, but we are using the C, which is including the citoyen. And Sonia, I'm just mentioning you and the story of the C into a university. And I think that was a very smart way of, not too many people are looking at it, they take it for granted or they misspell it nowadays, but it was the very beginning of the idea to say, well, we are not only serving students itself, we are serving the whole community. And if you look around now, we have all the different departments, we have all the different structures of the university sitting here, from the Spanish university, being present virtually, or trying to onboard in our universities, because we need them. We are not only related to Erasmus, we are not shuffling students back and forth, we are implementing new structures at the university, and we are doing something which is already, we have to do it anyway. We have to do digitalization. We were forced to do it rapidly with COVID. We have to discuss how we will have a structured way of digitalization of education, teaching, and whatever. We have the obligation since many, many years, and this obligation grows, for outreach into our communities, how to bring citizens on board, how to foster the industry, how to foster startups in structures, and to create, not every of our student is moving into a big company like SAP or Siemens or whatever. They are founding their own companies, they are founding unicorns, hopefully, and we are all waiting for unicorns founded by our universities. Well, but the way to Stanford is a long way to go. But I think also in this case, the cooperation is strengthening us and giving us new chances for our students, for our staff, and for the community. So the citoyen, the university, is really giving the idea that we are sitting together and we are not only talking about students, and I'm very happy that this time we have students with that, which are not only can, but should and must contribute to this, because we are doing it for the students, but not only for the students. We are also doing it for us, we are doing it for our society. We have so many challenges in our society, and university is a place where we can educate a future generation to overcome these challenges we have in our society currently. And this brings me to the second point. I'm declinating EDUC from the backwards. I have already mentioned that we have one of our basic concept as we founded it was digitalization. We thought, sitting here together with 8 universities over a wide area distributed, it's nice to come together. It's important to have the personal contacts and looking face to face and discussing. But on the long run, many aspects have to be solved digitally. We are the environmental issues, and many issues are very urgent matters which we have to address. And I was just told that we have in our new process how we are moving forward. So we have commitments also in EDUC to consider the environmental issues, and I think it's not only the environmental issues, there are much more to going in. And you can see here what I'm wearing here, it's not the multicolor circle, it's the sustainable developmental goals. And I think we are not only sitting here, and I was very happy to see this, that many of our universities, we are not only addressing environment, it goes far beyond this. It's health, it's well-being, it's all these issues which are a challenge for our society, how to overcome this. And I think digitalization is a small part of it, but it will contribute substantially on energy float and energy usage and whatever, and it will also contribute to a new teaching format. And I'm very glad also that we have for the first time the vice president and vice rectors for education with us, because I think this is a very important part that they, and not only education, the person responsible for education, are integrated into our discussion, because that will shape basically how the universities will be able to interact on exchange of teaching format. How can we efficiently have our students cooperating? We have the COIL projects, yeah, collaborative online learning platforms. That was the very beginning, and this is a start where students can come together. They don't need to meet, but they can meet. And I always like to tell the stories with our COIL project. We even had a marriage on COIL, despite the fact they for a long time, they only met digitally. We also have the first child coming out of COIL. Well, they must have met in person. I assume digitalization is not as far as this now, but you never know. And I think this is, well, a small, funny example how this will bring people together. And you don't need to travel all the time, but you have a chance then, I like the person, and to meet. And well, it's what Tinder is doing and others. You meet virtually and then you like you. And on the lecture hall in former time, we were sitting each other close in rows, and we were, yeah, you know, you have all been at universities sitting side by side and starting some kind of liaisons. Now it is different, and we respond to this. And the last point, and the most important point, is Europeanization. I guess what we are currently doing here, the EDUC is under the responsibility in most universities of the Vice President for internationalization. However, I do think if I look at it, also with regard to Corona, but also with regard to EDUC, if I look at it from my perspective, my activities, internationalization, has been substantially reduced and been focused on Europeanization. If we would have looked at it for 10 years, we would have regarded this as a clear internationalization strategy in the European context. But I would love to say it is now Europeanization of higher education arena. It is a very strong cooperation, and I think all of you sitting here, and Sonja and myself, and we were starting this out, and if I look back, we have now 4 years of very intensive experience. Yeah, I mean, we spent many, many hours, and then the rest is joined, and all are spending so much time I have never spent in any cooperation with any other university. That's amazing. And I think that's important, because I think what I started out to mention with the history of the different universities, it's also not only the history, it's the spirit of different nationalities which comes in there. Not each nationality is in the same mood. And I think these strengths of Europe over the centuries, to where we fought each other also and brought up great ideas together and in conflict with each other, that's one of the strengths of Europe. And we were shaping, and I'm citing Macron at this point, because Macron was the one who gave the initiative to EDUC and many others, not to EDUC, but to the European alliances. And he also was bringing up the point now, made in Europe. I think it goes beyond this question of made in Europe. I think it's a question of that we Europeans should be aware that we have so much different knowledge, different powers. If we bring it together, we can make a difference for us in Europe and for the world as well, because I think what the French Revolution brought up, it's a valuable good, which I am a little bit afraid that we are losing it slowly, these kind of values of equality, fraternity, and so on, what is the part of the French spirit of democratization and freedom, basically. And so I think the European itself is the most important word in this, because it says we are diverse. We have different histories. We have different ideas. Some have dinner starting at 9:30, and Germans are getting hungry at 6 o'clock, yeah? But these are small not very important parts, but it is giving a picture that we are approaching problems differently, but we are here to sit together and to understand and to respond to the difference, and not take the difference as a kind of hindrance to move forward, but to understand why this is different and how we can not circumvent it, but how we can convert this into a strength. And I think that's something we should and we could and we will do. I know this is a very tough process. It's an amazing growing process. I mean, the first meeting we had, the 6 vice presidents were sitting with one person responsible for organizing it, with a few advisors on a small table discussing what is EDUC about. Now I look in this room and we have more than roughly 60 persons sitting here, all engaged in the one or the other way into EDUC. That's fascinating. And despite the fact that we have, I think it's a little bit like a startup company. It's the hockey stick development. Those who are in the business world know the hockey stick discussion about startup companies. You are working 7, 8 years and nothing happens. You always think, wow, wow, you have to push and nothing, it is tough and nothing happens. And suddenly you have reached a certain ceiling and then it takes off. And I think EDUC is something like this. It needs time. It needs time for convincing. We had to convince our structures. We still have, in some cases, to convince our respected rectors and presidents. And we have to convince our colleagues that what we are doing is worth for what we are doing, because we are not doing it only for our exchange of our students, but we are doing it to transform our university, not into a unit, a different unit, not as in future time. I think that's not the way it works, that there will be one university, but it will be a structure which is understanding each other, and I think that's the important part. And I would like to report one point, only to give you a feeling what EDUC and how we are standing in the European higher education arena and in the European alliances. If we had the reapplication round of the first 19 universities to go into the second round, and I would love to ask you, and we are not going into a discussion about this, but how do you think would have the EDUC been ranked in this re-evaluation? First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Who believes that we ranked in the second half or in the first half? Who is going for the second half? You are going for the first. Okay, good. Well, it is, so I spoiled it a little bit. No. I think it's always interesting to see how oneself is looking at what we are doing. And we are critical. We see all the problems. We see all the challenges. We know we have IT problems. We know we have. It's like in a big theater. You perform and you know what everything went wrong, but the auditory, well, they thought it was a great performance. It looks well. And I tell you, this is, I don't know whether it's a kind of semi-official information I give to you, but Sebastian told me he had sources. They told that EDUC was second in success to another university, which was differently, they had a specific topic, but EDUC was second in evaluation of all the alliances. And I think that's a great success. We always see our problems, and we are disappointed by our problems, and we are frustrated by our problems. But the evaluator thought, well, what you did is great. And I think if I listened into the heart of other alliances, they are also cooking only with water. And we had the better spices. So I would like to end with this. I think we have to congratulate ourselves and applaud ourselves that we have made it to this point and that we have the next 4 years to go. There are many issues we have to address in the next 4 years. We need the support in the next 4 years for all structures in the university, because only if this is happened, then EDUC will be a success. We need support of personnel, the Department for Human Resources. We need the Department of Student Affairs and so on, because that is, but that's not, sometimes that's my last remark in this, that's sometimes not so easy because it's not only depending on administration of the university, it's also depending on governmental rules, which are in our way. So last but not least, we also have to convince our governments, and in German it means regional governments, not national governments, that they open doors for experimental purposes, that they support this and understand that that's an important part, not only for that internationalization, Europeanization means that our students coming from our universities will contribute to this world substantially and will, well, not change, but understand that the world is not simple as there's a yes or no, there's a bad and good. It's a complex world, and complex problems need the academic approach to it. In this, I thank you for your very kind attention, but I thank you not for the attention. I thank you for being actively involved, contributing, bringing your heart, your blood into EDUC. I'm not now going into Winston Churchill. Bringing your blood into EDUC and making EDUC alive. EDUC is not living by itself, it lives by us. And we have to keep this alive, we have to give the torch to others, we have to give the torch to many others. And so, by having said so, I wish EDUC for the second phase, which I think is the sustainable phase where nobody will discuss any longer in 4 to 6 years. What is happening with EDUC in 4 years? It will be EDUC, and it will be a sustainable and a constant part of our educational system of our 8 universities. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your words. We have seen how eager and ready you are to carry out this fascinating project as this EDUC. And let me share with you some ideas on behalf of my university. First of all, I would like to say that this meeting is the beginning of a new stage of the consortium, as the director has just pointed out. It is the beginning of a new stage because we have the official incorporation of 2 universities, the University of Southeastern Norway and the University Jaume I. We are 2 powerful partners, characterized by a strong internationalization, pioneering digitalization initiatives, and programs with regional relevance. Thus, together with the University of Potsdam as the coordinator, the University of Calgary, Masaryk, Paris-Nanterre, welcome again, and Rennes, welcome. We make up a consortium of 8 universities for 7 countries. And we are ready, as the Rector has pointed out, to face new challenges. On behalf of my university, I have to say that being part of this consortium responds to the pro-European outlook we have had at university since we were founded in 1991. And above all, to the willingness to participate from the very beginning and in an active way, as the director pointing out, in the consortium. This is the most ambitious internationalization strategy that we have implemented at the University Jaume I to date. And without doubt, it will allow us to intensify the pro-European commitment of our university, where we understand Europe to be the natural space for developing our activities. In addition, by becoming a partner, the University Jaume I reinforces EDUC with our experience in areas such as digitalization and curriculum work placement in study programs. Likewise, the consortium will also benefit from our links with Latin America, an area that we think we can contribute, especially in the Alliance. Besides, with EDUC, our university expands its possibilities for collaborating and cooperating at all levels, following the consortium's motto, which says, "Our world just got bigger." For all these reasons, we are very happy and we are eager to be part of this project in order to become a truly European university. I have to say that for students and research staff, but also for other staff from different universities, it opens up different opportunities for exchange and cooperation. EDU also represents a strategic partnership between universities in different countries to provide a solid and forward-looking response to European major societal challenges. And this has been understood by the European Commission. As has been pointed out before, in August, the Commission renewed the financial support for EDUC for the next 4 years. So thanks to that, we have possibilities and challenges ahead of us, and we have the financial support to carry out these challenges. I would also like to thank specifically to the 6 founding universities of EDUC. I know you've been working hard, and thanks to your work, we are here today. But now, what we have before us is our ambition that EDU Alliance become a fully integrated university, fulfilling all its visions: education, research, innovation, and social responsibility on a European scale. And it has been pointing out, the university team have the responsibility, all of us, that's why we have invited 2 different rectors today, because we have the responsibility to lead the project within each of our universities, and we will do that. I promise that we will do that. If we do that, by 2027, we will be a consolidated consortium. We will be a new type of transnational university community, and we will encourage multilingualism, inclusion, interdisciplinarity, and digital technologies. This is our aim, and we are ready to do that. Finally, I would like to end by saying that EDU represents a commitment that we share. The 8 universities share our determination to build multiple bridges between our diverse educational systems and region, different disciplines and social sectors, as well as between individuals from different backgrounds and the diverse communities that inhabit and shape. And it probably explains why, when we are waiting for dinner, some of us are it's too early for us to have dinner. For some of you, it's too late, but it doesn't matter. In the long run, we will be happy working together. So thank you very much for your attention, and I hope that you really enjoy your working sessions, but also have time to enjoy Castellón and the environment that welcomed you as well. Castellón and the university welcomed you, all of you. Thank you so much.